Hey Noir fans, Jason here from Speakeasy Noircast. So when Carly and I started looking for solutions for our podcast, we discovered there were way too many options available. We almost gave up looking for the right fit and came close to forking over a bunch of money for one size fits all type of solution. Then I stumbled upon Anchor FM. Not only is this amazing service free, but we can record and edit our podcast directly from Anchor FM or even on our phone when we're on the go. That alone saves us a ton of money and time. But there are several other major benefits to using Anchor FM that makes it the perfect fit for us. Anchor has a built-in solution for distributing our podcast to all the major outlets, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and just about anything else you can think of. You no longer have to submit your RSS feed to every single service in existence just to get your episode to your fans. And talking about money again, like I said, Anchor is absolutely free. And Anchor FM will even help you to make some cold hard cash right from the very beginning. Anchor FM has a unique advertising platform that doesn't require a minimum listenership. So right out the gate, you can start making some money. So let's put it in perspective. Anchor FM is free, everything you need to make a podcast in one place, instant distribution, and they'll help you make some money right from the start. So if you've been struggling to find the perfect platform for your podcast, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. After you finish this episode, of course.
In 1996, Chris Carter followed up The X-Files with the darker, arguably more sophisticated series, Millennium. Fans yearning for Frank Black's heroic return can revisit past nightmares and see glimpses of a hopeful future in the new feature-length documentary, Millennium After the Millennium. Villain Media affirms the documentary establishes how relevant the former Fox series still is to society. UK Film Review says Jason D. Morris creates an enthralling documentary. Screen Critics calls it an absolute must-see, featuring new interviews from Lance Henriksen, Chris Carter, Frank Spotnitz, and many more. Millennium After the Millennium is available now at thetimeisnowmm.com. This is who we are.
Probably not. Maybe like the 100th episode.
You're making the 100th episode?
Yeah, it'd be like a special.
We'll be like 100 years old.
Maybe I'll be dead by then.
Like, on this episode, shit, what are we gonna watch again?
Who are you?
Man, if we can't even hardly work Skype now, what's it going to be like when we're 100?
Yeah, but in the future, maybe it'd be so technical that we'll just think Skype and it'll just ping. Oh, Christ, that's dangerous. What if our crazy minds go wandering like, Keanu Reeves, right there.
Access denied. Restraining order in effect.
They can't keep me away. Flimsy bit of paper.
I'm surprised you haven't flown out here already.
On the edge. I'm 50-50. If there was an exact location, then
there is an exact location. He's in San Francisco right now doing stunts.
Yes, but there's a lot of bits of San Francisco.
Yeah,
it's just one bit.
It'll be pretty easy to find.
Well, that's dangerous information.
It'll be in like the, touristy places that people recognize and things like that.
I'd get myself some shades and like a black coat and just pretend I'm just wander around, see if I can be an extra. I'm with these guys. The guy's still trapped in the Matrix. That's me. I'm one of them.
All right, Carly. We are opening up episode number 6, I believe. I can't ever remember these numbers. Do we even need to have episode numbers? Is that a thing? Do other people do numbers on their episodes? I don't know.
I don't know. Do the cool kids do that?
I don't know. I'm definitely not a cool kid.
Professionals? We're not professionals either, so...
Are there professionals?
Maybe we should separate ourselves from the professionals and the cool kids.
Right. And this is actually episode number 7. Because I told you I was bad at math. And that's not going to change. So, today, before we get into the movie that we've watched, which I think we've already told you what it is, but our drink for today is a simple one. It's pretty strong, I guess. So today's drink is going to be a pretty simple one, and it's called a Noir Neat. And neat basically means that there's no ice or anything in it, straight. And it is 2 ounces of Contreau. That's it. Damn it, did I fuck it up? Contreau. Contrary.
Is it
Contrary.
Oh, no, I can't say it. Contreau.
Maybe. My apologies. I even looked this up. I even clicked the little button that has the speech thing that tells you how to pronounce it. And I still
said it wrong.
Yeah. And I have some sitting on my shelf right here because I'm drinking it. And I still couldn't pronounce it.
Did you drink too much?
No. Well, it's a tricky word because it looks like it's, phonetically it looks like it's Cointreau. But it's pronounced K-A-N, so con, I guess. I don't know, whatever. You guys at home, you probably know what it is. You've been drinking this stuff for years. Right?
I'm pronouncing it properly.
I've been drinking it for years. I put it in things and, whatever. But I don't think I've ever drank it straight before. But, so, this is just a straight drink, 2 ounces of Contreau. Did I do it wrong again? And it's served in a cognac glass. Cognac snifter.
Snifter?
That's what it's called. Just cognac glass to me.
I don't know what's a snifter.
Yeah, I don't. Do you sniff cognac? I guess so.
That's not a nice word.
Snifter.
Snifter.
Fun word. Snifter. It's served in a cognac snifter. And that's our drink for tonight. I'm having one right now. Carly's probably still on the gin because she can't get off the gin.
It's a problem.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, so it says that it's dry and sweet. I don't think it's sweet, but I guess it depends on the kind you get because I think they have a couple different kinds. It's a blend of orange liquor with cognac. And what does this say? I will just cut that out. All right, so drink along with us. It's a sipping drink, and hope you guys enjoy it. This is my first time drinking it straight, so I'm sure I will. And Carly, enjoy your gin.
Which I can pronounce properly.
Tonight we're going to talk about another Neo Noir film that in my opinion it's so noir that it feels almost like a classic noir film opposed to a Neo Noir. And it's one of my favorite, it's in my top 20 favorite films easily. It's hard.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have a hard time placing films like, in an order, but I definitely would say it's in my top 20 if I was going to give you a list. I love this film a lot. But it's it's so noir. It feels like it easily, should be considered a noir classic, even though it wasn't made in that time period. And that's even being in color, and I don't know. It's just it's very well done though. But anyway, the movie is L.A. Confidential.
They were 3 cops who had nothing in common.
Freeze! Big V, what are you doing here? Hey, man, keeping the streets safe, boys.
One would do anything to get ahead.
You're truly prepared to be despised within a department?
Yes, sir, I am.
One had his own brand of justice.
How's it gonna look in your report? It'll look like justice. That's what the man got.
And one loved the spotlight.
What exactly do you do on the show, Jack?
I teach Brett Chase how to walk and talk like a cop.
The
The Night Owl Massacre. This is a heinous crime that requires swift resolution. 6 victims. One of them, one of our own. Interrogations will be led by Lieutenant Ebenexley.
I need some backup. Come on. All right, college boy, I'll help.
Now, all of them are faced with solving one case.
Don't move! I want confessions, Edmund.
Oh, I'll break them, sir. These people are all in the morgue. And someone has to pay for it.
There's something wrong with the Night Owl. I just can't prove it.
They thought they had it all figured out.
Anything bothering you about the Night Owl case? The fact that you guys won't let it get filed away.
I didn't kill nobody! But what started as a murder...
You talk only to me on this one.
...became a mystery that could cost them everything.
Why was Susan Lefferts at the Night Owl?
I don't know. I never heard of the Night Owl till today.
How about some payback, big time?
We need evidence.
I'll get the evidence.
It was an information exchange.
Do you have any proof? The proof had his throat slit.
What do you want, Exley?
I just want to solve this thing.
Even if it means paying the consequences?
Academy Award winner Kevin Spacey, Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, James Cromwell, Kim Basinger, Danny DeVito. L.A. Confidential.
Now, I've redone this a couple of times. I didn't want to trigger you like I did with Memento by calling Guy Pearce pretty. So there's been a few changes.
So in this one, Carter's going to be like, and starring Guy Pearce, who's super hot.
Who's so beautiful. No, I cut it out because I thought I'm not listening to you rant for half an hour about his hair colour.
Which is natural in this, I think, right?
Which is what happened last time.
Right.
So, the Hulk, a Boy Scout, and a glorified National Enquirer snitch investigate the seedy underbelly of filth that is Hollywood.
Wow, you're so good at this because this movie is freaking complicated. I sat here and I tried to think like, how would I describe this movie? Like, how would I tell somebody what this movie is about? And it's so freaking complicated. But
in a nutshell, that's what it is.
Yeah, brilliant. Well done.
Thank you.
Wow. That was impressive. Yeah. That really was impressive.
Thank you. I'm quite impressed because I managed to get the individual characters in there because, I mean, Bud is the actual Hulk.
Yeah.
When he loses his shit, it's like Hulk smash.
Right. I mean, you missed a few of my favorite characters, but they didn't need to be in that synopsis at all.
They did not. Nope. No.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, seriously, that was very well done. That was wow, you're so good at this.
I know.
So, you need to do better on our movies.
I know. I was hoping that wasn't going to come up.
All right, folks, I'm sure most people have probably seen this film. L.A. Confidential is a 1997 film. It's directed by Curtis Hanson. He also directed films Hand That Rocks the Cradle and River Wild and 8 Mile. I actually love all three of those other films as well. And I didn't know, I never really looked into the director or knew who he was, but I'm a fan so far.
That was a big declaration there, wasn't it? As if he was listening. Hi, I'm here.
Well,
I'm a fan.
Even regardless, just to everybody else, I mean, he's obviously a fantastic director. I love all those films. Even as like under the radar, like River Wild was, I loved that movie. I thought it was fantastic. I don't know if you've seen it, but Kevin Bacon and Meryl Streep and yeah. Anyway, great movie.
Oh, I'll put it on my list.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's got its noir elements, but it's it's an action sort of. I wouldn't call it a heist movie, but it's like a couple dudes that are. I can't remember exactly what they did. They robbed somebody or did something wrong or whatever. And anyway, watch it. That's not what this podcast is about. River Wild's a good movie. Obviously,
you should watch Lucky You as well that he directed with Eric Bana.
Lucky You?
Yeah, you'll hate it, but He directed it, so
Well,
you're a fan.
I might check it out. I'm not a big Eric Bana fan. He's okay.
Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore's awesome. I like her.
There we go. Sold.
And I would say, speaking of Drew Barrymore, no, okay. Just watched Firestarter the other night. Love that movie. So yeah, directed by Curtis Hanson. It stars a lot of freaking people.
Yep.
So many, I didn't even write down their names. But as you know, people like James Cromwell, Carly's favorite, whatever his name is. I can't even remember it now. Something Jimmy Price. Is that his name?
What?
Guy Pearce.
Jimmy Price? Danny DeVito.
Yeah, do we really need to go through the whole list of names here?
I don't know. We're going to be here a while.
Freaking many people.
Yeah. Going to be here a while.
Oh, man.
Although, how do you pronounce Kim, whatever her name, surname?
Kim Basinger.
Is it Basinger or Bassinger?
I think it's Basinger, but I don't know. I've always called her Kim Basinger.
We'll just call her Kim, shall we?
I could do my little thing where I try to find the pronunciation, but that...
Well, it didn't go very well previously, did it? So
obviously won't go well.
We might just upset Kim fans on the internet, which I'm not really looking for, to be honest.
She's amazing, though. I mean, this is probably hands down my favorite film that she's in. I thought she is just stunningly gorgeous, and I always found her to be an amazing actress. She's just amazing in this movie. Real quick, though, just to get back to this, because we don't want to leave anybody out here. Kevin Spacey, Russell Crowe, Guy Pearce, James Cromwell, David Strathairn, who's also in River Wild, Kim Basinger, Danny DeVito. There's so many people in this. There's so many other,
I told you shouldn't have started it.
Yeah, there's just so many people in this movie. It's just amazing. Those are your headliners, though. And the movie is based off of a series of books from, I believe it was 1990, by James Ellroy. And I think it's called the LA Quartet series. And I haven't read them, but I think that the LA Confidential book is also the basis for the video game from Rockstar called LA Noir. And I could be wrong on that, but I think that might be correct.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I also love that game. That game is awesome. It's amazing. A lot of people don't like it because there's not enough quests or this and that or whatever. I am so bad at games that all I did were side quests, and I still haven't finished those. So I don't know what people are talking about.
I watched my husband play it, and it seemed very good. It's
amazing. It's really cool. I love it. And I'm glad I didn't finish everything, because then I can go back at any time and just play a little piece of it to get my noir fix. And it's very much like LA Confidential. You could play the tough guy, or you can play the dogged PI. There's so many different ways you can do it. But as most games, there's also the driving portion of it, and I suck at games to begin with. And when you get me in a car in a game, I'm terrible. I'm running people over and stuff like that. Not on purpose, but...
I think Crazy Taxi would be your game. I feel like you'd be good at that.
Maybe. I don't even know what that is, but my wife probably would, call me a crazy driver when she gets in the car with me.
Yeah, Crazy Taxi is someone just dives in your taxi, and you just have to get them to where they're going the fastest, and it doesn't really matter if you run over people or anything. They can't jump out. You can't be that bad that they run away because you don't get the fare. But if they pay you, doesn't really matter.
That's funny. Kim Basinger, I think we were talking about. Kim Basinger was awesome. And also she won, let's see, the movie was nominated for 9 Oscars. Unfortunately, it was up against a tentpole, Carly's favorite, The Titanic.
Oh.
I don't like The Titanic.
Unless it's got a 2 after it.
I only like talking about it if it has a 2 after it. I don't even like talking about the Titanic. The only good thing about the Titanic was Billy Zane, in my opinion. So,
God, well then that's the bottom of the barrel, isn't it? If he's the best thing going.
For me, yeah, I love Billy Zane, but fuck that movie. I hated it. I'm not a DiCaprio fan. I'm not a Kate Winslet fan. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I didn't like it.
Poor LA Confidential. It had no chance, did it?
No, not really. And it's such a brilliant film. It's so much better than the Titanic. So much better. The Titanic was just, I mean, come on, really? I don't know. I could talk about that for an hour just in hate. But LA Confidential is just a well-crafted film. Great casting, great cinematography, great directing, great script. Everything about it is just phenomenal. I can't think of a bad thing about it. I really can't. So it was up for 9 Oscars, and that's, makes sense, but it won 2. My favorite, Best Supporting, Kim Basinger. And rightly so, Best Screenplay. So if anything, I mean, those are 2 of probably the best awards that, I'm happy that it took home. Should have also won Best Picture, Best Direction, like so many other things. If anybody in the film, though, I wouldn't give in to Guy Pearce. He's perfect for the role, don't get me wrong. He is perfect for the role, but the more and more stuff I see him, he's just him. And that's, I don't know, probably my biggest issue with him. Kevin Spacey, though, is just fantastic in this movie. Danny DeVito is kind of always the same, but it's, again, just like Guy Pearce, he's perfect for that role.
Yeah, he's just so funny.
Yeah, he's really
when he
great.
just pops up like, oh, it's him again, causing mischief.
Yeah. And then Russell Crowe is really good, too, but he just seems like that bruiser kind of type. So, I mean, he kind of plays...
I'm not the biggest fan of Russell Crowe. Generally.
Yeah, I think he's great. I think he's a good actor. I loved Gladiator. It's a fantastic movie. I thought he was really good in this. And I thought him and Basinger were a great pairing, honestly. But I'm disappointed that it didn't win more at the Academy Awards.
Well, you do hide your feelings well.
Yes. Shut up. Again, like a lot of the films actually we've been talking about, this film has also been selected for preservation by the Library of Congress. And do you guys have anything like that over in the UK?
I'd probably have to research that because I'm not too sure.
I'd be curious because, I mean, is this strictly an American thing and we're just, I don't know. Interesting.
I don't know. I'll get back to you on that one. I'll have a bit of a Google search.
Yeah, and I believe that they, where they're preserving the movies at, I think it's in Kansas, if I remember right. I'd have to look that up too. But I thought that was pretty cool because has Titanic been preserved by the Library of Congress? I don't know. I hope not.
Oh my God, what's going to happen if it has been?
I hope not.
I feel like Kansas is in trouble.
Did you hear, by the way, that they built another Titanic?
Oh.
And it's supposed to sail out like on the anniversary of the Titanic sinking?
Well, this is all old news because Titanic 2 already did that.
And
that didn't go well. So
obviously.
Shane Van Dyke predicted this about 3 years ago. So,
right. It's so crazy.
You couldn't pay me to get me on that bloody ship.
Right. And I can't believe they're doing it again. I mean, okay, in a Z movie, because that's what the asylums are. They make Z movies, not even B movies. But they're fun.
Better than bloody Titanic, aren't they?
Yes. Titanic 2 is head and shoulders above Titanic. It's one of the few films where the sequel's better than the original.
I just took a mouthful of coffee, then it nearly went everywhere laughing at that.
So, hey, Carly, let's take a break real quick and talk to our listeners about our sponsors.
In 1996, Chris Carter followed up The X-Files with the darker, arguably more sophisticated series, Millennium. Fans yearning for Frank Black's heroic return can revisit past nightmares and see glimpses of a hopeful future in the new feature-length documentary, Millennium After the Millennium. Villain Media affirms the documentary establishes how relevant the former Fox series still is to society. UK Film Review says Jason D. Morse creates an enthralling documentary. Screen Critics calls it an absolute must-see, featuring new interviews from Lance Henriksen, Chris Carter, Frank Spotnitz, and many more. Millennium After the Millennium is available now at thetimeisnowmm.com. This is who we are.
All right, guys, we're back and we're going to keep talking about this film. So one thing that I thought was really cool what Hansen did when he started this movie. Okay, so there was a pilot that I believe that he shot. It was originally going to be a TV series. And I think that it's on the Blu-ray or the DVD of the film. And I recall watching it several years ago, and I was like, oh my God, I'm glad this wasn't a TV show, because it didn't even come close to the quality of the movie. And I think that it still can be. And I believe actually somebody else has tried to turn it into a TV show recently. But he did such a better job with the film than the TV show was. And I don't know if you had a chance to see that, Carly, but you should check it out. It's not like it's terrible,
I haven't.
But it's nowhere near as good as this film. But what I thought was interesting is that before he made the movie, in order to get everybody sort of on board with the style and the tone and everything, he held like a mini film festival for the cast and crew to give examples of all of that as to what he was sort of going for. And the movies that he selected were all, he had certain ideas as to like why, we're watching this movie. All right. But the films that he selected were The Bad and the Beautiful, In a Lonely Place, The Lineup, Private Hell 36, and Kiss Me Deadly. Have you seen any of those?
Well, we know that I've seen one of them, don't we?
Yeah, me too. In a Lonely Place.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the others?
I might have seen Kiss Me Deadly.
Yeah, that's the only one that I think that I've seen too. But I can't recall it. I couldn't tell you what it is. In a Lonely Place is one of my favorite films. But I think we should add these to our list.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be fun to kind of go through. Maybe even do them sort of like in the same order that he screened them. I think that would be kind of fun, just for the hell of it. But I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought that was a great idea. And I also read about, production-wise, how he specifically said he didn't want to stylize it as a classic noir. He didn't want the lighting and all that kind of stuff. He wanted to sort of speak on its own and put all of the style and the noir and period stuff in the background. Like he just wanted to paint the background with, that sort of era and class. And then let the actors kind of speak for themselves and the story unfold, which I thought was smart and brilliant. And I think that's the reason why when I watched this film, it feels so much like a classic noir, because it doesn't actually have anything to do with like the lighting and any of that kind of stuff that most people associate noir films with, other than the story and the characters. So I think that was a brilliant directing choice on his part. Otherwise, I think it would have eventually come off as just being a little cheesy and dated eventually when people would go to rewatch it. And as it is now, it feels like it's not a period piece, really. I mean, even though it is, but it's hard to describe. It really feels like classic noir to me.
Yeah, it just slots right into that time period.
Right.
Doesn't it, I'd say?
Yep, absolutely. All right, so this is a super complicated movie in my opinion. What do you think?
Well, put it this way, I've got 3 pages of notes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's go through it.
It's no, because it's all just kind of saying the same stuff.
Great.
But that's how, like, complicated it is. But, I don't know. I like, the main thing I like about it is the conflicting ideas. You know, like, the TV series is called Badge of Honor.
Right.
And, like, none of them have any honor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like the...
Even our straight edge Guy Pearce character, he's like...
No! God, what bum liquor he is, isn't he? He's just an absolute. He'd sell his granny.
Yeah.
To get promotion.
It's all... I mean, his heart is in the right place, but he's doing bad things to get good things done, which leads to bad things. It's just classic human nature, I guess.
Yeah. They're all as bad as each other, aren't they? They just end up in each other's shoes at various points. Yeah,
they definitely are in their own sort of bastard ways. They all have their own, horrible qualities. And interesting enough, our two worst guys end up being the best. You know, Kevin Spacey and Russell Crowe's character, they sort of come around and do a 180, which I think is especially Kevin Spacey's character. Like, he really is like, you know what? This is wrong. We got to fix this kind of thing. And I thought that was cool. I really enjoyed that. Because he became a real bastard, man. It was like, at some point I just started like, fuck, I hate seeing this guy. He's so gross.
Yeah, just so smarmy and...
Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of the stuff is, it's obviously some of it's set in action because of him, but, he redeems himself quite well.
Yeah, gets shot.
Well, that, but also he tries to, kind of do his job.
Yeah, finally starts being a police officer.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was doing. That's what that badge is about. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Better go and do some police work.
I do wonder if the whole plastic surgery prostitute thing was like a real thing, if that actually happened. I thought that was kind of interesting as well. I don't know if that was a real thing, just made up for the book, or if that was, something that actually happened back in the day. I didn't know that plastic surgery was really something that took place back then,
Yeah, and I was quite surprised by that.
Yeah.
I suppose it's a brilliant idea, though.
Yeah, I assume that it must be, because I don't think that they would, a movie of this level would do something like that if it wasn't,
Take that liberty.
Yeah, historically accurate to some point.
Yeah. Plus, it leads to the best bit in the film, when Exley's insulting Lana Turner thinking that she's a prostitute.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the first time he smiles. Maybe first and last time in the film he smiles.
Yeah, and I could talk about Guy Pearce more, because he just looks like he has a perpetual smile, and I think that irritates me.
I thought it was hilarious, especially when Kevin Spacey just stood behind him like, no, that is Lana Turner.
Oops.
His face is a picture.
Right.
See, my only problem is that I didn't really think that Kim Basinger...
Don't you dare. Had
a lot to do. She didn't really have a massive amount to do. She kind of leaned in the doorway, looking lovely. Came out of an alcohol shop, looking lovely. Had some pictures taken, looking lovely. Got slapped in the face and still looked lovely. And then got a haircut and drove a car.
All right. So for our listeners at home, we're officially hiring a new co-host for the Speakeasy Noircast. Carly Street has gone missing. What?
I don't know. No, I don't know. I'm not saying she's bad. I'm just saying that she seemed a little bit wasted. She didn't really seem to have a great deal to do.
Well, okay, so I think her character...
I didn't say that was her fault, and she looked very lovely, and what she did do was wonderful. she just didn't really seem to do a lot of it.
Yeah, and I think the reason why is because her character really is a plot device in of itself. Like, she doesn't have to do anything other than her job, which is a prostitute. Like, she doesn't need to do anything. Like, that particular character, you know, it served its purpose in a different way. I mean, it changes some of the outside characters' perspectives, which is great. And I think that's the reason why she works so well, and her acting talent is, you know, is on display for that. And, you know, I don't think she needed anything else to do. I think just her ability and the character's ability to soften these very hard-edged men of that time or era. And I think that's sort of a classic noir trope as it is. I think was pretty important and pivotal, I think, for the entire movie. Because if she hadn't, would any of these people like really cared as much? You know, would they have ever shown that sort of better side of themselves? I don't think so. So I do look at it as being kind of pivotal. And maybe she didn't have like action to do, you know, but I still think that her character was super important. If they took it out, I don't think that the movie works as well at all. Like, I don't see any of them. Like, it makes Exley even more of a bastard. You know, it helps Russell Crowe's character. It's a huge like driving force of the Hush Hush magazine and Kevin Spacey's character, and yeah, there's so much involved with it. But I guess, you know, there's an argument there that she didn't have a lot to do in terms of, you know, actual business, I guess. But I'm okay with that. I mean,
I was impressed at the amount of alcohol that she purchases on a daily basis, to be fair.
She has a lot of men to entertain.
She does. That's a lot of beverages.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know. I really felt like Kim Basinger was perfect for the role, and I think it was just a pivotal sort of plot piece that needed to be there. It made it work well. Come on, Notes. What you got?
You defended Kim Basinger very admirably there.
Thank you.
I'm sure she'll be thrilled.
Kimmy, if you listen, give me a call.
Internet defender. Oh, there's your phone pinging. She must be listening.
Uh-oh. Oh, that's her. Not.
That's her. Oh. No, see, my notes are very scrappy, and they all say the same thing. That I don't like Exley's shit-eating grin.
Tingrin. What's a tingrin?
A shit-eating grin.
Oh.
Yeah. Or tingrin, whatever that is.
I don't like Exley's tingrin.
I don't like his tingrin. It's not down with that.
Yeah, but he's your favorite guy, right?
Ah, but no, not in this.
Not in this.
No.
Is it because he plays the character so well? Is it because of the type of character it is? Like, give me some insight here.
I think so. I don't like Ed Exley. I would have been quite happy if he'd have been shot in the face.
Oh.
Because I think he's horrible.
Yeah, he is.
And even at the end, he's still a bit horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I like Bud even more. I dislike Bud even more.
What?
But then I feel a bit sorry for him at the end.
Why do you dislike Bud?
I just didn't really like him. I thought he was in on it for a little bit as well. And then I only started to feel a bit sorry for him when they started treating him like he was thick and he couldn't do anything anyway. And that's why he'd been partnered with that Buzz. You know? So then when he ended up getting shot in the neck, I thought, you're all right now. Because
he got shot?
Kind of, yeah, and he didn't speak, so nice improvement.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, I thought he was great. I love Bud. I think he's...
No, I do think the opening scene with him is one of the best opening scenes for a character.
Yeah.
That's great.
I don't know. I feel like he's our anchor in the movie. He's the everyman. He's the guy who does what he does because he's good at it, and he might not like it, but he knows his place. And he's trying to do better, and he does. So I felt like he was fantastic. I really liked Russell Crowe's sort of strong, silent, tough guy sort of persona in this. I again, just fantastic casting. Actually, Guy Pearce, I really don't care for him too much as an actor, but, you know, they had some, you know, magic 8-ball or something, because he is just perfectly cast for Exley. This guy is just a swarmy facade of do-gooder. He just played it so perfectly. He's so stiff and obnoxious and narcissistic and all under a facade of doing good at any cost, which makes the good just as bad as the bad stuff, you know?
Yeah.
He just doesn't, I mean, it's funny because it seems like he starts off in the right direction, but quickly. And I believe it might have even been Kevin Spacey's character that sort of steered him that way. I can't quite recall, but something kind of steered him into a direction and was like, yeah, I need to do whatever it takes to work my way up the ladder. So he's just perfectly like a horrible person and character. But I don't know, Carly. I do not agree with you with Bud or Basinger. His character.
I didn't say I disliked them massively, and I do like watching Bud Hulk out. They are the best scenes when he just flips his shit.
Right.
You know, like where Exley's in the interrogation room, going darting from one to the other.
Yeah.
And then Bud just shoots him with a gun, like we're going to play a game of Russian roulette here.
Yeah. That was a great scene. That was a fantastic scene, really. I love that.
Really good.
Yeah. That just speaks to the brilliance of the director in the script, which is really great. Let's talk about Danny DeVito for a minute.
I love that. I love his character so much. He's just so funny. I wish he worked for us and we were part of Hush Hush magazine, because I just think he's a riot. I just think he's brilliant.
He really is. And he's one of the few characters that are steadfast in what he does. He is who he is. He doesn't change at all. He's doing his thing.
No. And he's kind of like, well, you know, they shouldn't be doing these things if they don't want it exposed. So
right, exactly. I loved him. I thought he was great. It was, you know, and Hush Hush magazine, I think that's actually based on a magazine from around that time. I can't recall the name of it, but I believe it was. It's said to be the first sort of gossip magazine, like Star or Inquirer or something like that. I can't recall the name of it right now, but. It's supposedly based on a real magazine of the time that I think spanned like maybe 20 years or something like that. Maybe longer. Actually, yeah, I think it was longer because I think it ran into the late 60s or something like that. But yeah, so I mean, I'm sure this kind of stuff was going around, and, you know, there were plenty of corrupt police, you know, feeding information to the media and different things like that. And makes you wonder how much of that stuff that shows up in gossip magazines are true. Have you read any of the books, by the way?
No, I haven't. We can have a pretty big book list after this, aren't we?
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier today. Yeah, definitely. And I'm surprised by even looking at some of the classic films that we're talking about as well, how many are based on books as well. It's not like it's a new Hollywood thing. Even back then in the 30s and 40s, they were basing stuff on books, you know, even in this type of genre. which, I mean, I guess there was a lot of source material, you know. Mildred Pierce, I think, it was a book as well.
It was a book, yeah?
Mm-hmm. But this movie always has made me want to read that whole series. I just never have. I got such a huge pile of books that I haven't gotten through yet. I have a hard time, you can never have too many, I guess, but I have a hard time continuing to buy more books that just add to the pile I don't have time to read, and I try to make time, but, you know.
Yeah, I like to be uninterrupted. You know, like with a film, you can stop and start.
Yeah.
I can't with a book. If I get interrupted, it's down, it's shut. I'm not going back to that for ages.
Yeah, it's hard for me too, because I feel like I forget and lose sort of that feeling. Like I get so invested in the world and I feel like that I'm in it. And then if I set it down, it literally takes me a half an hour to kind of come out of it. It's weird. I don't get that really with a movie, but with a book I do. And I think it's because you have to design the look and the style in your head that your brain just sort of immerses yourself more. And so I have a much harder time putting a book down and coming back to reality, and then later on picking. It takes me so much more time to get back into it. But you're right. I've never been an amazingly strong reader or anything, so I getting through an entire book is hard for me anyways, but I've been sort of training myself over the years to stick with it, and but it is more difficult to stop in the middle of a book and pick it back up again.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're at that time, Carly, where we can rate the movie. Unless you you have something else to add in your huge list of notes that only basically says one thing.
Yeah, welcome to my my script writing, basically. 90 pages of the same thing. Were you shocked when you first watched it to find out who Rollo Tomasi was?
I wouldn't say I was shocked.
I was a little shocked.
See, I really wasn't, because at the time, in the late 90s and stuff like that, we had movies like Usual Suspects and Seven, and there was always that sort of twist ending, Sixth Sense, things like that. So I was expecting to either figure it out, who it was, or not, and it was just going to be kind of a MacGuffin sort of thing. So I wasn't super shocked, honestly.
Oh, well, that's disappointing.
I'm sorry.
Well, don't apologise to me. Apologise to Curtis.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't good and well thought out, because it is. It's a great little plot point, but I wouldn't say I was shocked because of it, It still held its power, But yeah, I mean, it was good. Were you shocked? Apparently, you were.
I was, yeah. I was quite shocked.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
Maybe that's because I wasn't paying as good attention as you, though. So maybe I was like, wow, what's going on now?
No, I don't think they really led on to it, It's just sort of there. Just a little thing, but...
Okay, yeah, I've got my answer. You can carry on now.
Okay. So, yeah, let's rate this film. What are you gonna give it? I know what you're gonna give it, but go ahead. Tell us.
Well, what do you think I'm going to give it?
I think you're gonna give it a 10.
Incorrect.
Because if you don't, what?
Triggered.
Yeah, listeners, remember, we are hiring. There's no pay.
No weirdos.
But we're hiring as quickly as possible.
That's brilliant. There's no pay.
And if you're not British, that's a huge plus.
Oi!
Oi!
Excuse me. Good luck getting someone to do this synopsis in a nutshell.
They are far too difficult.
You've got to Google every other word.
That's right. It's true. No, seriously, I'm excited now. Yeah, I'm excited to hear what it is now. Oh my God, it's not a 10. How could you not give this movie a 10? Go ahead.
I give it a 9.
That is not high enough. 9.5? Can we do a 9.5?
No, we're not doing points. We never agreed to points.
It's true.
It is a solid 9 or it's not.
All right. Jeez.
This is a 9.
Leaving a whole bottle of gin on the table, Carly. It's unacceptable.
How big's my bottle? I mean, it's like a shot glass, but...
Oh, man. 9?
9.
Really?
9.
All right. Where did it fail?
There wasn't really a lot of women around, and I was a little bit disappointed that Kim wasn't in it more.
Huh. Okay, so it's from a sexist point of view. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Either more women or more Guy Pearce.
There we go. Listeners at home, Carly is sexist.
They're my demands.
Yeah, I do think that they're playing in a man's world. So I think it's understandable. And they're not going for the sort of the love story like on top, you know.
Yeah, which is what I actually like that, because I do get fed up with love stories. Mm-hmm. Everything's got to have a love story in it.
That's true, yeah.
I just was a little bit disappointed that she wasn't in it more. Mm-hmm. She was a bit wasted, in my opinion.
Yeah, I disagree with that, but I see where you're coming from. I think she played her part. And I think had she been a bigger part of the outside story, I don't think it would have worked as strongly. I think her being a pawn, you know, a piece of the chessboard was, you know, just fine without her actually. And even still, she had her own thing with the blackmail and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, there's more. She's a much deeper character, I think, than we actually get to fully experience in the movie. But I thought it was well done. So I disagree with you in full. And I give this film 11 out of 10.
You can't do that either. It's 10 out of 10.
All right. It's a 10 out of 10 gin bottles or shots, whatever we're doing. 10 out of 10 Contreus is our drink for tonight.
Good Lord.
I think it's fantastic. I think it should have swept the Oscars. Stylistic tonality, acting, directing, script, everything about it, I just think is fantastic. There's not a single thing in this film that I think was done poorly or bad. The only sort of, if I had to find like an issue with it, the only thing that I could say is it was a little complicated. You gotta pay attention, you know, to the characters in the story to like really, you know, be able to follow along. That's the only thing. But I mean, that has to do with you as a person watching a film. 'Cause it's a complicated story. You know, I mean, it's simple if you ask Carly, because she'll give you like a one-line synopsis and brilliantly like lays it out. But for my Neanderthal brain, it's complicated. It makes me wonder how these like people get into these sort of situations and like come up with these plots, and I don't know. Anyway, very complicated, but it's good. It's fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, I think it balanced a nice big cast of characters well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I think having them all be mainly known actors, especially for that time period, you know, pretty well-known actors, helped a lot, because I think if there were people that you didn't know, it would have made the story even more complicated, because you wouldn't remember, who was that person again? What'd they do? Mm-hmm. So I think that was a pretty smart move.
Yeah.
You know?
It's easier to keep track of because the characters are so drastically different. If they were a little bit more closely resembling one another, you'd be a bit lost very quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, folks, there you have it. That is LA Confidential, directed by Curtis Hanson, who does a brilliant job with the whole slew of Hollywood's who's who at the time, and many of them still are. Based on the book from James Ellroy, LA Quartet series, which is on our list now to read. Hopefully it's on yours as well if you haven't already. If you guys want to give us a call, leave us a message. Area code 818-643-1441, or you can find us on social media, Speakeasy Noircast. We're on Twitter and Facebook. And we'd love to hear from you guys. Leave us a message, something. Suggest a movie. Tell us, how much we dislike Carly, and apply for the job. Apply for my co-host.
And Kim, if you're listening,
call me.
Jason's very excited to get your call.
Yes, call me. All right, we will talk to you guys later. Till next time.
Bye-bye.
He's looking at you, kid.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Speakeasy Noircast. Make sure to visit our website, resurrectionfilms.net, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or any of your favorite podcast apps, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, The Dark Side of Acting Up, available now on Amazon, or you can check out one of our films available on Amazon Prime.